Greetings and welcome to Infiniverse. I'm Daryl, your guide to the universe. This video has been delayed for over 2 months due to my examinations and the fact that I'm procrastinating, and also that I've been uploading more videos from other series like Infinite Life and Infinite Games. Anyways, today we will cover about the planet humanity has been most fascinated about for centuries, Mars. Mars has been part of our fiction for centuries, from being represented as the god of war, to being home to Martians, to being a place where Matt Damon is stranded. We can classify Martian fiction into 2 parts, pre-Mariner probe and post-Mariner probe. In my previous video, I mentioned that the Mariner probes crushed our dream of Venus, and it did the same to Mars. However, the Viking probes properly killed the dream of canals on Mars, as they found out that Mars is a cold, dead wasteland, and the canals that we see were actually an optical illusion, therefore killing all ideas of any life on Mars. The pre-Mariner period was full of stories of Mars being home to many different aliens. We got the aliens in John Carter to the aliens from War of the Worlds. These stories, albeit unrealistic, was not a bad idea at the time. Then there are more realistic stories of Mars being host to a human colony. The post-Mariner period is full of realistic stories, well, mostly. We got The Martian, The Expanse, among other stories of Mars, which range from the terraforming of the planet to a zombie virus found there. Yeah. Mars is cold. Very cold. It has an average temperature of negative 63 degrees Celsius. So cold that any water would freeze. Besides, the atmospheric pressure is so low that water would just evaporate. Yet, we have found liquid flowing water on Mars. Somehow. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter found signatures of hydrated minerals on the slopes, when mysterious dark streaks are seen on the red planet. These darkish streaks appear to ebb and flow over time. They darken and appear to flow down steep slopes during warm seasons and then fade in cooler seasons. This very salty brine may be concrete evidence of water on Mars. Although we now know that Mars is a very cold hell, it probably wasn't always this way. Evidence of river deltas and floodplains suggests that billions of years ago, Mars had water, and water means life. The life would most likely be in bacterial form, and we don't really have evidence of that just yet. But if we do, it would definitely be evidence of life on Mars. For the past few decades, one of the major goals of space agencies, other than search for alien life, was to establish a colony on Mars. Different space agencies have different dates on when they want to do it. NASA wants to do it in the 2030s, SpaceX by the 2020s. A sustainable colony on Mars would mean that the risk of human extinction would be tremendously reduced, as if anything happens to Earth, Mars will most likely be fine. However, to build a colony on Mars is no easy feat, especially with space agency's current budget. Issues range from money to building a powerful enough rocket to radiation. But if we manage to pull it off, Mars would be our second home. Mars has 2 moons, PHOBOS and DEIMOS. PHOBOS is the closer and smaller one, while DEIMOS is the further and larger one. Both these moons are most likely captured asteroids caught from the asteroid belt. However, Phobos' orbit is decaying. As a result, it will crash into Mars or turn into a ring in the next 50 million years. Right now, Phobos is already showing signs of damage. As it orbits Mars at 6,000 kilometers, the tidal forces acting on the moon are immense. The moon already has shown signs of tidal stresses. In The Martian, the main character is presumed killed after a dust storm sends an antenna flying into him. Of course, he survives. His crew abandons him and evacuates the base, thinking that he's dead. In reality, there are dust storms on Mars, but unlike the book and the movie, they are not powerful enough to cause evacuation of a base, let alone kill you. The most they will do is knock you over if you are not careful. However, on Mars, dust storms can cover the entire planet for months. which would kill any solar-powered rovers on the surface as they would not have enough power anymore. In Season 2 of The Expanse and in the original book Leviathan Awakes, Mars' second moon, DEIMOS, is destroyed by several nuclear missiles, and that got me thinking, would several nukes really destroy a moon, or in this case a tiny asteroid moon? Obviously several nukes won't destroy our moon, but it may destroy smaller asteroid moons like DEIMOS. So here's a clip of me trying this out in Universe Sandbox Square. I made DEIMOS explode using a 15 megaton nuke, and as you could see, it actually works. The moon immediately dissipated away and turned into dust. So actually, nukes really could destroy a moon, I guess. Since the 1960s, probes have been launched at Mars. From the Viking landers to the Spirit and Opportunity rovers to Curiosity. Since then, over 47 probes have been launched. However, not all probes have made it to Mars. Since the first probe, which failed, over 25 other Mars missions resulted in failures. This has led Mars to be a sort of graveyard, I guess. Some probes failed on launch, some missed the planet, some shut down, and some crashed. Despite that, human persistence continues as we continue to send probes to their death to Mars. Curiosity was launched on 26 November 2011 and landed on Mars on August 6, 2012. In 2013, in one of the saddest birthdays in history, Curiosity sank to itself using one of its equipment, a type of analyzer. However, in subsequent years, Curiosity didn't sink to itself anymore, and the reason of it is the reason is very depressing, because singing to itself does not have any scientific value, so NASA decided not to do it again. Following humanity's colonization of Mars, our next goal would be to terraform it. Terraforming means that you turn an alien world into like Earth, like putting plants or water, etc. However, doing this on Mars or any planet in any case would be time consuming and would take a lot of resources. The advantages of terraforming will be that there will be an atmosphere on Mars which will allow colonies to go outside without a suit. Also, an atmosphere will help prevent asteroid impacts. There are several ways to do it. We could divert comets, pump more CO2 into Mars's already thin atmosphere, or place bacteria to produce oxygen, etc. When terraforming is finally finished, Mars would truly be a second Earth.